Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Woodlands Yoga Studio. And I'm Sue. And in case you don't know me, I own the studio, and I've owned it for the last 7.5 years. And during this crisis, I chose to offer classes for free and live on our Facebook page. And we also store them for free on our YouTube page. So check them out. We have over 80 some classes available for you to do over and over again. And I also want to say thank you to all those students and people who have donated to our studio. There's a PayPal button on our Facebook page and on our website, right at the top of the page. We welcome all donations to help us cover our rent, our utilities, and we've used that money as well to purchase equipment to keep the studio clean, because we are looking to open May 18th with a reduced schedule and reduced class size, but our cleaning efforts to make this place safe have increased. We will be using UVC lights to sanitize the studio every evening. We will also have a HEPA filter here in the yoga room. And of course, we encourage safe distancing and just general hygiene to keep the place clean. And we also want to ask all of our students, if you are going to come back to the live classes here in the studio, you must have your own mat, a couple blocks, and a blanket, and a strap. And all those things can be bought online, whether you go to one great site is sunshineyoga.com, or Yoga Accessories, or Yoga Outlet, and of course Amazon. And if you're not sure of what to buy, feel free to message me right here on the Facebook page, or go to the website and send me an email. I am happy to advise you whatever your needs are. But we are looking to open up May 18th with a reduced schedule, 2 classes in the morning and 2 classes in the evening. And I guarantee you, all the instructors have told me how much they miss the students. In fact, now today I'm here alone, but in the past, we've had several of the instructors here behind the cameras practicing with us. So it's been kind of nice getting back together, but yet we're still safe distancing. I will say this. When we open, you can come in wearing a protective mask, and then once you put your mat down, you can remove your mask. Then when your yoga is over, you can put your mask back on and go back outside. We have a whole bunch of guidelines that we're going to be sending out to all our students, the student protection plan, and if you have any questions, please feel free to get a hold of me. I've done a lot of reading and a lot of research, and we want to make you feel comfortable. That's not to say we will offer virtual classes once we open up. Those will be pay per view, and that is coming shortly. So in the meantime, this is Friday, as Liz would say, Freaky Friday, right? And I don't know about you, but it's so easy to get sucked into our social media or just working on our computers, and it really takes a stress on our neck and our shoulders. Pretty soon we get this turtleneck and our shoulders round, and I'll tell you a little secret. Your shoulders govern your hips. So when this is all rounded and this is forward, guess what also hurts? The hips. So today I thought we would do a class on releasing the neck and the shoulders, and at the same time maybe help the hips a little bit. So go ahead, and I'm sitting up on a blanket. You can sit up on a blanket or a block. And take a comfortable seat and draw the flesh of the sit bones back. Close your eyes for a moment and simply settle in with your breath. Your hands can rest on top of your thighs. You can turn them up or you can turn them down. What feels good to you? Allow your elbows just to dangle freely. And then notice if you can lift your sternum a little bit and what that does to your spine and shoulders. It makes it easier to draw the shoulders back. And then bring the chin down just a little bit so that you lengthen through the back of the neck. And at the same time, energetically root into your sit bones and your legs, but lift up through the spine and the crown of the head. Let's sit here for a couple of moments and enjoy our breath. Softly inhale, gently exhale. Bring your hands up together in front of your heart. Press the fingers together and the soles of the palms. We'll chant 3 rounds of Om, but first clear your throat if you need to. Then take a full breath in and out. And draw in again. Softly bow your head in the direction of your heart as you release your hands down. Undo your legs. You can put your blanket off to the side for a moment and take your block, and you can put it either on the lowest or the next setting and come down onto your back, and you're going to catch that block so that that back edge catches right underneath the occipital bone. That's right at the very top of your neck. And you can lean your knees together so that your back is comfortable. And as the edge of that block presses into the back of your head, you're going to slowly turn your head to the right, like you're saying no. And maybe draw your chin down a little bit. And bring the head back to the left. And continue rocking back and forth as you massage that base of your skull. Close your eyes a little bit. Notice how that feels. Do you have any tightness? And if you do, just kind of bear down on it a little bit. And then over to the other side. And back. Then take the block and remove the block for a moment. And lay your arms out upon the earth and just feel and observe the sensations in your neck and in your head. Maybe it feels a little freer. So this whole area of head, neck, and shoulders all work in conjunction. So our next thing we're going to do, I'm going to roll up to my side, put my block off, and bring my blanket and roll it up nice and tight and create a little mini bolster here and put it on my mat. And I'm going to lay over this bolster, and I'm going to lay it so that it's right here at my bra line, so that the bottom of my shoulder blades can press into the bolster. So I got to get far enough that I can get my shoulders over it and my arms down to the earth. So if you're here and your elbows are going, I'm not going to reach there, you've got to slide down a little more. The back of my head is on the earth. The bolster is behind my heart and just a little bit below it, so that the shoulder blades push in. Now, if you find that when you're in this position with cactus arms, your wrists won't go down, simply take your hands and extend them out, or your arms out further. So for some, this might be quite a challenge. So try to work a little bit lower, and maybe that will help you draw your shoulders back and down towards the earth. And we're just going to lay here for a few moments. And once again, allow these muscles and this tissue across our upper shoulders to relax. For some people, again, this might be a challenge. This could be really tight for them. And these little guys here actually control much of the big muscles on the back side. So here we are, Friday, end of the week. I don't know about you, but my husband Ed, every morning he gets up and he goes, "What day is it?" And I have to tell him. He goes, "How do you know?" And I said, "Well, my whole schedule is planned around filming. So I always know who's filming that day, and then I know what day it is." Take a nice deep breath, and as you exhale, see if you can sink a little lower into the blanket. Let your body drape over that blanket. A few more breaths. And notice when you inhale, you actually press into the blanket rather than the lungs just expanding upwards. They expand three-dimensionally. So when I breathe, I actually can feel the back of my lungs pressing into the blanket. Couple more breaths. And then gently coming up, sliding your blanket out to the side, and coming down to the earth. And just notice how the back feels. Maybe extend your legs out a little more for a moment. And be aware of the tops of your shoulders. Have they released enough that they don't feel like they're lifting, but rather that they're just laying on the earth? So next we're going to work on our psoas muscle a little bit and see if we can release it. So take your block, bend your knees, put your feet on the floor, lift your hips up, and place the block underneath
your sacrum. Now, you have a choice of putting it on the lowest or the mid-range. It's up to you. For this morning, though, I'm going to go with the lowest range. You can go to the mid-range. I don't recommend the high range for this because we really haven't started to warm up yet. Place your left foot on the floor and extend your right leg out. Now lift your heart and draw your shoulders underneath so that the back of your arms support you. So this is a psoas stretch here. Psoas is the muscle that attaches here at the top of the quad, runs on the inside of your pelvis, joins the iliacus right here, and then moves all the way to your back body and attaches to the spine. So if you can picture this, when you sit a lot during the day, the front part of this muscle is contracted and the back part of that muscle is extended. So here we're actually trying to do the opposite. We're trying to lengthen through the front part and give the back end of that muscle a chance to release and just go to a neutral position. And again, come back to your breath. On an inhale, let the lungs expand. And on an exhale, let them contract. So sometimes we have to give time to these muscles and tendons and ligaments and fascia and just all sorts of kind of tissue in our body to simply let go. We all know that it's very easy to carry a lot of anxiety and stress in our upper back and neck. So we're just working on our lower body a little bit. So bend that right knee, put the right foot on the floor, extend the left leg out. And once again, maybe be aware of that muscle and allow it to release. This is also our fight or flight muscle. So we also carry a lot of stress and anxiety in that muscle. It also helped us run away from woolly mammoths. Although we don't have woolly mammoths anymore, we do have quite a few things going on in the world which will kind of throw us into a fight or flight state of being. So here we're just sending a nice message to our brains. Relax, psoas. We're not being challenged. We're taking the moment here to let you release and find some length. Take a nice big inhale and exhale. See if you can let go any more. One last time. Inhale. And exhale and bend the knee, put the foot on the floor, remove your block out to the side for a moment, and now extend your legs out and take inventory from your head, your neck, your shoulders, your hips, and your legs. And see if they don't feel a little better. And then inhale, we're going to simply grab one leg and draw it in. Give it a good tug. And then push through that heel and draw your toes down towards your knee and push your heel up towards the sky. Now push the leg into your hand so that your arms go straight. And then gently let that leg fall to the earth and be aware of how that feels against the other leg. Draw this knee in and give it some hugs. And you can even move it around in the hip socket a little bit. And then push through that heel, straighten the leg, Draw the toes down and then push the leg away from you. So you have what we call balanced action. And then release that down. Lift your fingers up to the ceiling. And then draw your shoulder blades down. Draw your armpits down. Take your hands over your head as you point your toes away from you. Feel the entire length of your body. And then gently release. Shift your hips. Roll to one side and come on up. And I just wanted to look at my outline here a little bit. We're going to come right back down. I left a real important one out. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Massage that sacral plate now at the base of your spine. Maybe drawing half circles with your knees or putting your hands around the top of your knees so you can circle fully. Coming back to a neutral position, draw in towards you and then push your knees away from you and hold your knees. Like if I let go, my knees would go in that direction. So I call this the suspension bridge. And I'm getting a little traction in my spine. And then softly release and put both feet on the floor. Slide your right hand up to your right heel. And let your right knee externally rotate out to the side. And you can move your left foot over and just do a little pumping here, trying to put the top of your thigh on the floor. Feel how this femur sits in this hip socket, and then just hold it down there for a moment. Now bring this right ankle across on top of the left. You're going to lift those hands up again like we did a minute ago. Draw the shoulders down. Take your hands over your head. Now intertwine your hands so that the palms face each other. We do this to take the hands out of the equation so that the legs actively work on their own. Pick your left leg up, if you haven't already, and push your left thigh towards your heart. Now flex your feet and spread your toes, and try to roll your right thigh bone away from you, getting a good external rotation in that right hip socket as the left thigh presses more inward. And then softly release. Put both feet on the floor. Pick the left ankle bone up. Place it on the right thigh. Pick the right thigh up and press that right thigh towards you. Be aware of the left knee. Is it coming towards you? Can you externally rotate that left thigh bone away from you? Moving your left knee away from your heart as you use the right thigh powerfully to push the left ankle bone towards you. And then gently release, put both feet on the floor. Take the arms out to a T formation. Take the feet wider on your mat and take the knees over to the right. So we're just going to do a little bit of a twist here, split-legged twist. Some of you may want to pick up that right foot and put it on the outer edge of the left thigh. And you may want to shift. I'm actually crab walking a little more to the right so that I can get a bigger stretch here in my hip flexor. Slowly release, put both feet on the floor. I'm going to shift my hips actually to the right, take the knees to the left, crab walk the shoulder to the left, pick the left foot up and put it on the outside of my right hip. And then inhale and come back to center. Take your hands around behind your knees once again and rock up and down. Give your spine
a massage here. As you come all the way up and around. And I'm going to try to put the blanket underneath my knees. My knees are a little cranky these days. I've been doing lots of walking, so I'm trying to take care of them. Placing my hands out in front so that my side body's long. If you place them right under your shoulders, it shortens this. So walk them out a little bit and then take your shoulders over. And I call this a wild cat-cow. So instead of just doing cat-cow with flexion and extension, I'm going to allow you to take the hips over to the left, maybe lift up and hips over to the right, maybe come back to center and do a gentle up dog, and then back maybe into a modified child's pose. So I'm going to invite you to do what feels good in your body. A lot of times I just like to move around a little bit, especially if I've slept crooked. And I just need to get into those nooks and crannies a little bit and open up. Coming back to a neutral position, lift your left hand up, slide it down underneath for thread the needle. Now notice this hip is coming closer, so I'm going to draw it back as I extend this hand even more. And then gently release, put the hand on the earth, lift the right hand up, extend that right hand under the left arm. And then gently coming back to center. So walk your hands in, tuck your toes, and sit back on your heels for a moment. And all my friends who are dancers, I encourage you to do this every day. I tell all my students that arthritis does tend to start in our toes. And this is a very good move you can do for your toes, for your feet. Strengthen your Achilles, the arch in your foot overall. And then notice, are you slouching or can you lift up? Take your hands behind you. Inhale, lift your heart. We're going to do a little rabbit pose as we come down on top of our head and let the hands float out over. Inhale, lift up. Place that hand behind you and lift your left hand up. Come back to center, hands clasp. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, dive down. And come back up. Place the left hand on the earth as you lift and lengthen to the side. And come back down. Place yourself in alignment for dog. As you tuck your toes, lift your hips, maybe walk your feet back a little further. And begin to pedal your dog here. One heel at a time. But notice, are your arms weak or are you strong? Take the eyes of your elbows like you're scooping and drawing them forward. And then maybe swivel one foot and push back. Come back to neutral and swivel the other foot and push back. So I'm strongly pushing into my hands, and yet as I do that, more weight goes into my feet. And then come forward and lower your knees down and come all the way down to the earth. Now lay your forearms on the earth for Sphinx pose and turn your inner thigh up to the sky on each leg and lengthen. Then push your toenails into the mat, which will help you lift your knees. Engage your thighs. Now engage your core to protect your low back as you pull your rib cage away from your pelvis. And then lower down. So now take your hands out in T formation, and you're going to bend the right elbow and roll open onto the front of your left shoulder. You can stay here, or you can take your hand behind you and interlace your fingers. It's up to you. You can even take this bottom leg and widen your pose. Try not to let the head dangle, but think of it as an extension of your spine. And then gently come back to center. Slide the right arm out, bend the left elbow, roll open onto the front of your right shoulder. And if you want, take the hand behind, interlace the fingers, and if you want, move the bottom foot. And then gently come back to center. And we're going to bring our head down this time and reach back with our right hand and grab our right foot. So this is called Bakasana, or quad stretch. And so this first time around, we're going to do it with the head down. And I want you to feel how that accesses the quad. So engage the muscles of the legs, make the foot strong into the hand and the hand into the foot. And gently release. Bring your right hand underneath your forehead, reach back and grab with your left hand. And once again, engage the muscles of the legs. Push that foot into the hand and the hand into the foot. And gently release. This time, prop yourself up, and I'm going to take this bottom arm and put it at a 45-degree angle rather than a 90-degree. This helps to keep the shoulder more in line with the socket. Reach back, grab the right foot again, and notice, does this feel different? And again, press the bottom of that quad into the mat. Engage the muscles of the legs. Can you get a deeper stretch the second time around? And gently release. Place that forearm at a 45-degree angle. Reach back with your left. Grab onto it. And release. Place your hands, tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Gently walk all the way to the top of your mat. Feet hip distance apart. Hands on your hips. Roll your shoulders on your backs. And come on up. So grab hold of your belt. And we're going to place it, again, right at that occipital point of your head. So I've got a decent amount of tension in the belt. And I'm just going to use my right hand and pull it across. So I get a little traction and turn. And then gently come back to center and use the left hand to get some traction. And turn. And again, I'm going to just move side to side. And see if you're too far forward. Pull in a little bit. Draw your inner thighs back. Lift your sternum. Encourage the crown of the head higher and see how that feels. And then lift up and release. So I want to talk a little bit here about posture. I see a lot of people who are on their phones all the time and these shoulder blades are forward and the collarbone is jutting out. And pretty soon, if you look down, you can see your shoulders. But your shoulders should be in line with the middle of your ear. So when you've got some time, check it out at home. Maybe you can kind of line up a couple of mirrors here and bring the ear back over the shoulder. When I stand up nice and tall, I can't see my shoulders. They're now in line with my ears. Then take your belt and lift it up over your head. Pull down with your right hand and curl in. Now really lift with the left hand and try to pull the belt apart. And inhale and come back up. Over to the left side, let the right shoulder round as I pull down with that left hand. Now I'm going to open up towards the sky. Inhale and come back to center. We'll try that again. Pay attention to your legs. Engage the muscles of your legs. Draw your inner thighs back. Pull your right hand down. Curl in. And then lift up. Open up. And come back to center. Over to the left. As you round, draw those thighs back. Lift up with your right hand and see if you can open up. And gently release. So I've got a little bit of a pattern here I'd like to see you try. See that your feet are hip distance apart and you're standing up nice and tall. Bring your hands into what we call Kali Mudra or Charlie's Angels. As you can see, the fingers interlace. The index fingers are released and lift them up over your head. Notice how much room you have. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're right here and that's all it is. See if you can open up the hands into a Y, and can then the arms go back further. Then draw the elbows down into a W. Turn the hands up to the sky and extend the arms out into a T. Dive the thumbs down and then bring them behind you. Notice, did you curl in? Lift your heart. Push your lower back into your hands. Here we go. Draw the hands down. We'll reverse it. Turn the palms up. Bring them up into a W, then lift them up into a Y, palms face each other. Bring your hands into Kali Mudra or Charlie's Angels and see if you can take the arms back any more. Here we go again. Open them up in a Y, maybe get them back a little more. Draw the elbows down into a W. Extend the hands straight out into a T. Turn the palms down till thumbs are down as you bring the hands behind you, lifting up through the chest. Inhale, take the hands out, roll the arms open, into the W, then into the Y, up into Kali Mudra, and into your heart. Good job, everybody. I hope you felt that a little bit. Roll your shoulders out. Let's move down to the hips a little bit and do a one-legged chair. Grab your blocks. Shift your weight over to your right foot. Bring your left foot up and forward fold into a one-legged chair. Tendency is to be forward, so draw the hips back. so that you're evenly weighted in that bottom foot, and hook the front or top foot around that upper right arm. As you pull the foot against the arm, have the arm resist. Push that right elbow out to the side as you pull the toes against it. And then gently lower the foot down, come into a cross-legged Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and really squeeze the legs. Exhale and fold. Do that again. Inhale, tabletop, leg squeeze. Tummy lifts. Exhale, bend your elbows and fold. Now inhale, squeeze the legs as you rise all the way up. Grab onto your right wrist if your right leg is behind, and stretch over to the left. Inhale, come back up, hands out to a T, lift the front heel, step out of it, and you're back into Tadasana. Let's try the other side. Shift your weight over to your left leg, bring your right leg up as you forward fold. You can grab your blocks, hook your toes around your upper arm, and draw your hips back so that you're more into that bottom foot and not so far forward. Use your left elbow to push against the top of the foot and get a deeper stretch into the hip. So we're actually getting into a muscle called the piriformis and the glute med. And the piriformis is the contrapose muscle to the psoas that we stretched earlier. Gently lower the foot down, and then lift and lengthen into tabletop. Pull your tummy up and in and lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, bend your elbows, squeeze your legs. Inhale and lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Squeeze the legs all the way up. Grab onto your left wrist this time as you reach over. Inhale and come back. Hands out to a T, lift your front heel and step out of the pose. So now, let's do a little flow here. Put your blocks at the top of your mat. Come into Tadasana. Inhale and lift up. Exhale, dive forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank and lower down and up into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left foot in towards midline, lift the right leg up, swing it through, lower the back knee down, come on up. Take your hands behind you, interlace the fingers. We call this I am beautiful. So draw your elbows first in and up. So cradle your head as you open up the elbows. Really squeeze and scissor the legs strong. Exhale, hands lift up, lower down to the earth, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up, swing it through, lower down. Come up to Anjane. Lift your hands up, elbows draw in, squeeze the legs together as you lift and lengthen and open up. Extend the hands up over your head and downward facing dog. Come forward into plank. You can lower the knees down into up cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg, swing it through for a lunge stretch. Now we're going to do a revolve lunge here. So you turn towards that bent leg, take the hand up. Maybe take the hand even back, palm up. And then see if you can take it up a little more without letting that shoulder socket pop forward. Now bring the hand down, turn your feet so that you face the long side of your mat and come into what we call Pasarda Padottanasana, wide-legged stance. And you can do a little movement here, or you can intertwine your elbows and allow the spine to lengthen. Now, because I can get my elbows down, I'm actually going to walk my feet in so that I can get a little more leverage to lengthen my body. And I'm just going to enjoy this here for a moment. Lift your toes. Hug your shins in. Move your thighs back and apart. Engage your core. Make your legs steady as you allow the length to develop in your upper body. Then we're actually going to walk our hands to the other side of our mat and open up into a revolve lunge. Maybe lay back a little bit. And then bring the hand down. Walk back towards that long side once again. This time, come up to your ridge tops. Lift your toes. Hug the shins in. Move your inner thighs back and apart. Engage your core so it's not hanging. Then exhale, and this time let your head go towards the earth. Move your elbows out wider. Come up to your fingertips, or what we call Spider-Man hands. And enjoy your breath. And then gently come all the way around to the front and step back, downward facing dog. Walk to the front of your sticky mat. Take your feet wider, lower your hips, and come into Malasana. Now I like to grab the edges of my mat. I'm going to put my blocks up here so you can see. I'm grabbing the mat and I'm pulling it forward so that the arms brace against the knees and the knees hug against the arms. This allows the low back to traction. And then gently lift your hips. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. This time, inhale, lift the left leg up. Swing it through for a lunge. Stretch, warrior two. Spin the back foot and windmill up. Reverse your warrior. Inhale and come back. Take the hands behind. Lift the heart. Bow towards that front corner. Really scissor the legs together. And then hands down to the earth. Step back, down dog. Other leg. Lift it up. Lunge, warrior two. Come on up. Reverse your warrior. Come on back. Hands behind. Lift up. Forward fold. Towards that front corner. Really make the legs strong. See if you can find a sense of freedom in the shoulders. And then hands down to the earth, downward facing dog. Same thing again. Left leg up. Warrior two. Inhale and come up. Now take this hand behind. Bring this hand down to inside the leg. This is bus stop one. Bus stop two would be to take the hand underneath and take the bind. Notice where this top shoulder is. Are you down? Can you pull that sit bone under and draw that shoulder back? Release. Down dog. Last side. Right leg up. Warrior two. Windmill up. Take the half bind. Bring the hand down. Now you can stay right here. And you might want to, you notice I scooted my foot in for a little more steadiness. I'm going to take that half bind and then pull in, pull in. Or simply be right here and open your heart. Downward facing dog. Take a child's pose or a vinyasa of your choice. Well, I get a drink. So I hope everybody's doing good. I want to say hi to everybody and see who's on. Hi, Lou. Hi, Rodney. Hi, Yvette. And then come on down to the ground. Feet out in front. Roll the sit bones back. I'll scoot back a little bit so you can see me. So really pull those sit bones back. And I'm going to lean back a little bit and bring the soles of my feet together. Walk the hands in and lift the pelvis and scooch you forward. Draw your toes back and extend out through your knees. Lift up with your heart. Now I just want you to try something here. Round your shoulders. And when you did that, what happened in your hips? Did they kind of tuck under? So if you lift the sternum, broaden across the collarbone, notice how the pelvis comes into a neutral position. Isometrically roll the shins forward. So they're rolling out. At the same time, the outer hips are drawing back. From here, extend your right leg for a little Janu Shirshasana. Now this foot, some people can bring it in towards the pubic bone, but my knee is a little cranky over here because I tore my MCL a couple years ago. So I'm going to bring the foot more towards the inside of my thigh. Sit up nice and tall and twist a little bit towards that foot. Pull the sit bones back and start to walk my hands out a little bit. Now I've got to bring this hip around and take this left hand to the outer edge of the right leg. Maybe I can sneak it down to the toes, or maybe I just grab. But this isn't a fairy grab. This is a strong catch in the leg or strong catch in the foot. Now this free hand over here does not go to Shavasana. Needless to say, push in to the earth. And when you do that, see if you can lift and lengthen as you forward fold. Let your elbows go wider and actually stretch across the upper left back. Draw your inner right thigh down, your left hip back, your left elbow up, but pull yourself towards that foot. And then gently release. Come back to Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. Then extend your left leg out and bring your right foot in where it's comfortable for you. Like I said, it can be lined up with the pubic bone or a little further down. Draw the sit bones back. This is your left hand. Push it in. When you push in, you actually draw the left hip back so that you can draw the right ribs towards this left leg.
maybe reach the leg, maybe reach the foot. Really push in, lift up and lengthen. Think cow pose, not cat pose. As you bend your elbows and round. Inhale and come back up. Now let's try something to the front since we just did a little bit of a stretch here. Bend the knees, put the feet on the floor. Take the left hand to the outside edge of your right foot completely. Lift it up into tabletop. Then lift up into cow pose, not cat, and push on your foot so the leg doesn't totally straighten, but I'm getting a bigger stretch now, even up here in my upper shoulder. My legs are the most powerful appendages in my body, and I'm really pushing hard. And gently release. Flip to the other side, right hand to the outer left foot. Pick the leg up in tabletop. Now step on your gas. Maybe notice how one side is tighter than the other. This is my tight side, and I have to really push, and I can feel the stretch all the way down into my quadratus lumborum. And gently release. Good job, everybody. Come onto your backs. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Place your hands behind, a little happy baby. Put your feet on the floor. As we did earlier, let's do that figure 4 pose again, or what they call Suchirandasana. Lifting the, put the ankle bone on the thigh, thigh lifts up. And you can take your hands out of the equation once again. Now this time, I'm going to bring the knees kind of right over my hip sockets and close the knees till there's no gap between the thighs. This is what we call cow pose, or down here in Texas, we call it longhorn pose. I'm going to reach up and grab the outer edges of my feet and push them up into my hands. My hands draw that down. So again, I'm now working both hips and shoulders. And gently release. Put both feet on the floor. Bring the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Figure 4 pose. As you draw the right thigh towards you, try to roll that left thigh away from you. Then bring the knees directly over your hip sockets. Close the gap between the thighs. Reach up. Grab the tops of the feet. Lift them up. Now I'm pushing the edges of the feet into my hands. My hands resist and draw down at the same time. And gently release. Let's do a full twist here. So place your feet on the floor, lift your hips up, move them to the left, pick up the feet and take the knees over to the right. Before you do anything else, move your right shoulder more to the right. This helps to establish a deeper lumbar curve in your low back. Place your right hand on top of your left thigh. On your next inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, draw your left ribs towards your left hand. Take your eyes and gaze deeply at your left fingers. And gently release. Shift your hips back to the center of your mat. And just pause for a moment. And can you tell a difference between one side and the other? Then lift the hips and move them to the right edge of your mat. Lift the feet up. Take the knees to the left. Crab walk your left shoulder to the left to establish a deeper lumbar curve. Left hand to the outer right knee. And on an inhale, really lengthen through the spine. And on an exhale, gaze over at your right fingertips. And then gently lift back up. Shift your hips. Draw the right knee in. Extend the leg. Extend the bottom leg. Now push that thigh away from you. You can point and flex that foot. Then peel your head and shoulders up off the ground. Slide your hands up. You can lift the bottom leg up. Elbows bend. Hollow out the armpits. Bring your nose to your knee. And then gently lower back down and bring the leg with you. As you release, take your hands over your head and the leg floats all the way down. Enjoy the sensation on the right side of your body, feeling a little more fluid, maybe spacious and long. Slowly draw your left knee in, give it a hug. Push through the heel, straighten the leg. Circle and flex and point that foot. Peel your head and shoulders up as you bring your hands up. Lift that bottom leg up to a float as you draw your nose to your knee. And then as you exhale, bring the leg with you. Lower the bottom leg down. And then release and take the hands over your head as you float that leg straight down to the earth. Once again, bring your arms around by your sides. And you may want to draw your shoulder blades a little underneath for support. Let your legs be slightly wider than your hips and your feet to fall away from midline. Close your eyes and settle into your breath. Softly inhale, gently exhale. Soften the skin on your face, around your eyes, nose, and mouth. Release any tension you have in your jaw. Let your teeth part. Let your tongue rest. As your eyes even become heavier, turn them deeply down into their sockets and allow them to wander even deeper into your heart. Ride the wave of your breath. Shavasana.
Keep your eyes closed as you deepen your breath. Bring life back into your toes and into your fingers, into your feet, and into your hands, into your legs, and into your arms. Lift your hands and arms up over your head and take a nice long stretch. Then draw everything into your heart and roll to your right or left side and pause. Stay close to the earth and enjoy the sensations from your practice. And know that you can get on your mat anytime, day or night. Relieve that stress, anxiety, and tension, whether it be in your neck, your shoulders, your back, your hips. This is what the practice of yoga offers just for you. Roll your heart towards the earth. Take your hands and push yourself up to a seated position. And then bring your hands together in front of your hearts. Thank you all for joining me on this beautiful Friday. And I really want to ask that you stay safe, you stay well, and hopefully I will see many of you back here in class. The light within me deeply bows to the light within all of you. Namaste. Bye, everybody.